Bond. James Bond.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup! Sublime!
What keep using that word? I don't think it means what you think it means.
Tear me apart, Lisa!
But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of You Haven't Seen That, a movie discussion podcast where we introduce our friend Ben to movies he should have seen a long time ago. I'm your host, Amanda.
I'm Geoff.
And I'm Ben.
And today we are talking about Rat Race. And stick around until the end because we'll be giving our top 4 large ensemble comedies.
Rat Race. In an ensemble film about easy money, greed, manipulation, and bad driving, a Las Vegas casino tycoon entertains his wealthiest high rollers, a group that will bet on anything, by pitting 6 ordinary people against each other in a wild dash for $2 million jammed into a locker hundreds of miles away. The tycoon and his wealthy friends monitor each racer's every move to keep track of their favorites. The only rule in this race is there are no rules. Released in August of 2001, the #1 song in the US, Bootylicious by Destiny's Child.
Good old days.
I know, right? In pop culture news, we had a couple celebrity divorces right around this time. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, as well as Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid. And in world news, some events happened a month later that would forever change history. So there we go. Rat Race was directed by Jerry Zucker and stars Rowan Atkinson, John Cleese, Whoopi Goldberg, Cuba Gooding Jr., Seth Green, John Lovitz, Breckin Meyer, Kathy Najimy, and Amy Smart. Also featuring some fun little cameos popping up here and there as well, such as the band Smash Mouth. With a $48 million budget, this movie grossed $85 million at the box office, so a little bit of success. This opened number 3 behind American Pie 2 and Rush Hour 2 at the domestic box office. And it was not necessarily loved by critics. It has a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 52 on Metacritic. No awards consideration for this, nor have there been any sequels either. So very short history with this movie.
Thank you. Ben, why don't you tell us your history with Rat Race?
I do not have really a history aside from something I'm sure will come up here from a game we were playing with Amanda several years ago, where we were playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, not the actual game, just chit-chatting about it. And Amanda, for a long period of time, got John Lithgow and John Cleese confused. And this was the movie that was at the heart of that discussion. And I had not seen it, but some others in our group had, and that was where the debate kept going back and forth. So anyway, aside from that, I don't really have any memory. I don't really remember this coming out, and I didn't know what it was about. So I don't have really much of a history at all with it besides Amanda confusing the 2 Johns.
The 3 Johns, because sometimes I get John Lovitz confused in there too.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't help that 2 of them are in this movie together. All right, Geoff, what is your history?
Didn't really have much of a history with this movie until I started dating Amanda. That was the only time I'd ever seen this movie. So I'd seen it a couple of times, most recently, probably about maybe 4 years ago or so. And yeah, no, never grew up with it. Never really caught it anywhere on any cable service or anything like that. So it's had to be introduced to me at an adult age. So yeah, sorry for a very short history.
And I have seen this movie countless times. I don't think I ever saw it in the theaters when it came out, but I watched it many, many times at home. I still own the VHS that I got from Blockbuster, and that's how Geoff and I watched it.
Better version and better than watching it on Pluto. I'd watch it on a VHS any day over Pluto again.
Absolutely. So, Geoff, let's hear your score.
You could actually argue that this is Amanda's Saving Private Ryan to me as reference to last week's episode. Me being like, I've seen Saving Private Ryan countless of times. Amanda's like, I've seen Rat Race countless times. So there we go. I love a good stupid movie, and this definitely falls into that category. I have fun with this. I think, while I don't have the affinity for this that others do maybe on this podcast, I think it's fun and relatively turn your brain off. So I'm going to go, I've given a lot of 3.5s this year. I'm going to go with let's go with a 3.25.
All right. And what about you, Ben?
This is all right.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take all right.
I didn't, it was dumb, and I'm not a big fan of dumb comedies, but there was like enough to like about it that I didn't hate it. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 2.75.
All right. I was talking with Geoff before we got on, and I was like, I don't think he would hate it as much as he hated Twilight.
Oh yeah, no.
I was like, as long as he doesn't hate it that much.
No. Not even close.
Yeah, so I'm going to quote my own review of this movie that I wrote on Letterboxd in 2021. This film is perfect, and if you don't think otherwise, you're wrong. End quote. This is a 5-star movie for me. It's my Mrs. Doubtfire. It's like, I don't care that there are problems with it or whatever. Like, it's a 5-star movie. I can't give it anything less than that.
I love
there are no problems with Mrs. Doubtfire.
None at all.
I love that you have such an affinity for this movie, sweetie. I think it's hilarious, and it is really a time capsule of a movie, just in terms of like the ensemble pieces, the jokes, everything. It is very,
the look of it is very 2001.
Oh, big time.
Yes, I love the opening credit scene with the little cartoony people. I don't know. I miss opening credit scenes.
Airport security is very pre 9/11.
9/11, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to have a hard time talking about this because I could just go through every single scene and be like, this was so funny, and this was
has
so funny.
Such a so I realized something about this watching this and thinking about how you recommend it, or you wanted to do this, and I know it's one of your things, and I was like, and then I was looking up for our top 4 later for the ensemble comedies, and I was like, ensemble comedies is like Amanda's sweet spot with films. Like, I was like, so many of like her like ones that are like, the Amanda films are ensemble comedies.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so this totally tracks. Like, if you were to like line up a movie, like 10 movies, from 2001 that are all kind of comedies, and been like, which one is Amanda's movie? I think I could have gotten it.
Yeah, it makes me sad that the ensemble comedy doesn't happen too much anymore. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if it does, they're not always great. Granted, they weren't always great back then either.
No.
But I just wish we had an opportunity for more of them because they're just so good.
Yeah,
so funny.
It's hard. It was hard because for the movie recommendations at the end of this episode, I was trying to find other ensemble comedies, and it was very, very hard to find some from the last like 5 to 10 years, just because of how things have changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Poor Geoff had to deal with me quoting this movie a lot as we were watching it, and B, laughing before anything even happened, just in anticipation of what I knew was going to happen. Like in the opening scene when they're at the casino and he's checking out of his hotel room, and I just started laughing, and Geoff's like, nothing even happened yet. And I was like, yeah, but he watched Afro Horse 11 times.
And started The Grinch.
For 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I like how the beginning of this movie just wrapped up every single stereotype imaginable about Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Guy at a bachelor party degenerate gambler trying to escape his family. Everyone kind of involved in the whole sports betting circus. Like, they've really nailed all of the stereotypes, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know not a lot of this movie takes place in Vegas, but it's definitely a Vegas movie for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the whole thing really is centered around betting, and so, you know, that right there is the heart of Vegas.
Right.
Betting and gambling.
Oh, for sure.
So Ben, I'm curious, is there a particular storyline that you found funnier than the others? Or characters?
Yeah,
that you
I was
found
going to say,
funnier?
like, character-wise. So I didn't know about. I'm shocked that I didn't know about the I Love Lucy thing. Because, like, you'd think, like, of all my years of, you know, being an I Love Lucy fan, this would have come up or been on my radar at some point. Like, I would have seen the clip or something, and I hadn't. Like, I had no idea that was part of this movie until I saw it. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed John Cleese in it, and actually, surprisingly, I liked John Lovitz and Kathy Najimy.
Yay!
Because I'm not a big. We talked about this with a couple weeks ago, but I'm not a big John Lovitz fan. But I actually thought that was funny. I thought the Barbie Museum was great. You know, and then them driving the Hitler mobile. But I thought that was funny. The ones I didn't like as much, I really, really, really didn't like Seth Green's part. Because I really don't like that other actor at all, the one with the tongue piercing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also felt Whoopi Goldberg's part felt very underutilized.
Yes, I agree.
Like,
not
she
a
was
lot is
arguably the biggest name in the movie, and I felt like they didn't do that much with her.
Yeah. No, I agree. Her and Vera have always just been kind of like, like, they're okay. But I mean, they also, I feel like in terms of screen time and like what actually happens in their storyline of trying to get from Vegas to Silver City, they definitely have like the least amount of stuff that they like have to get through, you know.
Which maybe, I don't know if was that like Whoopi's time commitment and availability, or what, like, I don't know, you know, because she was a pretty big actress back then. She wasn't just the host of The View. Like, right, you know, Whoopi was a huge name back in those days.
Yeah, we were looking at the cast, and I was trying to figure out, like, okay, now obviously I'm trying to enter a time capsule at this point, but I was trying to figure out where everybody was in their career at this point. And I'm going through, I'm like, oh, are they as big? And then I realized, like, oh yeah, Whoopi Goldberg at this point, multiple, you know, leading lady films. She's been nominated for an Oscar. I can't remember if she won an Oscar at this point. I apologize for not remembering.
Yeah, I think she had.
Cuba Gooding Jr. had won his Oscar at this point. So yeah, a lot of notable names. Figures. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but shout out to Kathy Bates.
Yes, yes.
So good.
Selling squirrels. I was like, that's Kathy Bates. I was like,
when the car graveyard shows up after the squirrels, it's just a great bit. Great bit.
Who are your favorites?
I think for me, I'll let Amanda go last. I think for me, it's the John Lovitz, Kathy Najimy storyline as well. Just because it's the most unique in terms of everywhere that they're going, everywhere that they're stopping, how they end up in this mess in the first place. The fact that they have 4 people that they have to care about with this, and the ups and downs that they have to go through. Everything from the chaos at the airport to their daughter having to prairie dog.
Oh my gosh, I'd never heard that term before. That's disgusting.
Disgusting.
Can I tell you a really funny story, though, to interject?
I'm afraid.
So this was like, you know, back in the era when home videos were like a thing, right? And so every summer, my cousins would come over to my house and we had my video camera, and we would always make home movies of us just usually like ripping off other shows and whatever. Like one time we did like the like QVC network, and we were like pretending I was selling my mom's jewelry and like different things like that. But at one point we did parody Rat Race, and there is a video of me like in my parents' minivan, like trying to stick my butt out the window to like recreate that scene. Anyways, continue, Geoff.
Incredible. So That is probably my favorite storyline of the bunch. I agree with the Whoopi Goldberg storyline just being the most underwritten, but I think how they end up in Silver City is hilarious just because it happens so fast in how it happens. Like, oh yeah, they're just there. And I think in terms of if there were like individual moments, I think the Rowan Atkinson Wayne Knight scene is also pretty funny. Just Wayne Knight showing up and throwing just pure gas for just 10 minutes in this movie, and it's like, and then just gone. It's like, great, just absolutely perfect appearance. So that's what I would say would be the things I gravitated towards the most with this movie.
I still can't believe he took the heart out of the bag.
Psychotic. Like, of course I putting it in my shoes, I'm like, yeah, I would absolutely open up the cooler and be like, ooh, that's a heart. But yeah, taking it out of the bag.
Out of the bag is
insanity. Oh my
You're
gosh.
asking for something to happen at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to pick who I like the most. I think it's a tie between, as you both said, John Lovitz and Kathy Najimy. They also like get featured a lot more than some of the other characters, but they're just so funny together. And like John Lovitz's facial expressions in this movie are like unmatched. But
this must be why you like John Lovitz. We talked about why we don't like where they come from. This must be like, is this the origin of you liking John Lovitz?
Probably. That's probably the first thing I ever saw him in. But I also really love Dwayne and Blaine, Seth Green and his brother. I just have always just found it so funny, like their dynamic and everything they do. The scene where their car is being pulled up the airport tower is the hardest I've ever heard my mom laugh at really anything ever. And they just obviously they find themselves in the most extreme circumstances out of anyone, between being pulled up the tower, having to go on the hot air balloon chase and all of that. But the monster trucks, they definitely end up with the most extreme. But I just think they're both very funny and I like them.
Yeah, for me, they were ones where it crossed a little too far into like the stupidity.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
that's fair. I believe it.
Yeah,
I will never get a tongue piercing. This movie just reaffirmed everything about the.
Not that I ever was planning on it, but
nope.
Two John Cleese lines that I want to just adopt into my life is, tragically, he was born without a personality. And I can do anything I like. I'm eccentric.
Yes. Yes.
I was quoting that second one multiple times in the days leading up to us watching this. I would just randomly be like, I'm eccentric. Rawr. He's so good in this. And just like the ongoing storyline of all of the high rollers betting on different things interjected into this plot is also hilarious. So I wrote down everything that they bet on. They took bets on chocolates out of just an assortment, what flavor the guy would get. They had an escort, I guess, come in.
There you go.
And they wanted to throw a really crazy party, and they bet on how much that would cost. They had maids hanging from the curtains to see who could hang there the longest. And then when they had to fly to Silver City, they had the pilot make the plane fly all crazy to see who would throw up first.
And now you can bet on all of those on Kalshi.
That's right. I feel like it
was the future.
Predating. Yeah, it was.
Seriously, in a lot of ways, yeah.
Being a part of everybody's life all the time. I think about like how like betting used to be such a there's a recent Abbott Elementary episode about where Sam Walter's character got into betting, and it made you realize like how it went from being like a thing like people went and did in Vegas or Atlantic City, and now it's like on our phones. Like it just feels like it's just becomes, and there's always been like sports betting to some degree, but how it's been so mainstreamed, and now it's like extending to like award shows and box office, and just like it's just become like, I don't know.
So it's like
according, I mean, if this movie is to be believed, rich people have been doing it for forever. It's just now reached all of the rest of us.
Exactly, except that most of us don't have the funds to do what.
Well, right.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to chase that high.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I work in the sports space, and watching the intersection of like I've worked in sports now for the last 10 years, and seeing how it was prioritizing daily fantasy sports was the way to be in that space and be like, oh yeah, because when I started working at the Commanders, which was 2015, right? Yeah, 2015. They had a partnership with FanDuel, but it was for FanDuel like daily fantasy sports. Now it's like that doesn't matter anymore. Like that's out the door. Heck, even with FanDuel and DraftKings, it's like that kind of stuff is out the door. Now it is all prediction markets because it is the Wild West, and no regulations needed for now. And you can really bet on anything for now. So it's insane to have seen it change and grow and everything.
It does feel like a bubble that's going to burst at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah. I was mad at the Golden Globes for having the Kalshi.
Oh, yeah.
Polymarket.
Polymarket. Whatever. I don't know the names.
The same. They're all stupid.
I was too, but then I was also like, boy, I'd be better at that than football betting, though.
There you go. Maybe you should adjust.
Amanda, you mentioned the Seth Green storyline, which, side note, I feel like you're one of the biggest Seth Green fans in the world.
I mean, I do love almost everything I've ever seen him in.
It's hilarious. You should watch the one episode of Entourage, which he's featured in. He's actually plays a very funny part. When they get to the one scene in New Mexico when they're doing the hot air balloons, what do you guys feel about hot air balloons? I thought about that as well.
Would I want to be in one?
Would you want to be in one?
They're kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah.
They are. It got me thinking while I was watching. I'm like, would I actually want to ride in a hot air balloon? I don't know.
I feel like my era of deciding to try that has passed. Like, I feel like if I was like 20 something, I feel like I might have said, "Oh, that'd be fun." And now I don't know that I think it would be. I think it would be cool, but I don't think I would want to take the risk.
Yeah, I think I would maybe
15 years ago I would have.
Yeah. I would for sure do like a tethered one.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
The actual.
Have you guys done like the sky coaster or anything like that at like an amusement park? Like
skydiving?
Yeah, but like at an amusement park, not actual skydiving. Okay. I did do that. And it is like the view is really cool. Like, like getting that kind of view is, so much cooler than like seeing it in a picture or on a video. It's seeing it in person is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would want to try that. I'd try that, but yeah, I don't know. I would have to be tethered for a hot air balloon. Yeah. Especially after watching this, like,
But like, you think like, I don't know, like a hot air balloon, like ultimately isn't that dangerous. I mean, people do it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's accidents that happen with it, but so there's accidents with cars. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
But for some reason, it's like getting past that psychological hump that I don't know that I could anymore.
Right, exactly.
It's like you're blowing fire into a like piece of it's not fabric, but I don't know, like the mechanics of a hot air balloon are so wild to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know, which sounds stupid because I don't know the mechanics of how a plane works. But
it's fine. That's fine.
Right?
Just don't see hot air balloons all that much, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Geoff probably knows this. I'm changing topics here, but the coin flip bit with Cuba Gooding Jr. had to have been based on the real situation.
Yeah.
Because that was just a couple years after there was a famous Thanksgiving Day game between the Steelers and the Lions.
That's right.
When the ref tossed in the air and Jerome Bettis said either heads or tail, like, and it was like misheard by the ref. And then like they basically like didn't, they didn't. Now that's why to this day the ref repeats the call to the player. And the Steelers ended up losing that game based on the coin flip. that went against them, even though Jerome Bettis said what it ended up being. So clearly I feel like they were parodying that. And I think that was a much more well-known moment in 2001 than it might be now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing I thought of. Now, there was no attacking or anything. Like it wasn't like anything that went beyond that. But I think that was definitely where they got that idea, I'm guessing, because I believe that was 1998. So I think that would have been very shortly before this movie was written.
Right. And they had to swap in to make it Psycho Cowboys fans. Sorry to all the Cowboys fans out there.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of this movie whenever I watch coin tosses.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. And Vegas is the worst place to be if you're the center of that controversy in that situation. Like, you can't show your face, period.
Yeah.
Ties back to, a couple of weeks ago when we did A League of Their Own. And my least favorite thing about baseball was the umpires. And I thought of a number of different umpires making those kind of calls where it's like stuff has happened, maybe not from like a betting sense, but just from like are you kidding me kind of sense. Yeah, just insane.
I also have to say, as an I Love Lucy nerd, two things. One, when the bus tipped over and they all did the Lucy wah, I liked that.
Yeah.
But then there was one scene, and I wanted to go back and turn on the subtitles, but I was worried Pluto would like put another 8 ads in if I went backwards, so I didn't. But I wanted to go in because there's one. So for people who don't know, I can name all the I Love Lucy episodes. You give me a number, and I can say the name of it, the episode.
So proud of you.
That's my Rain Man.
I love it.
But there's a part where she's coming up and asking Cuba Gooding Jr. what his favorite Lucy episode. She's like, mine's 30, whatever. I forget what number she says. And then she starts to say what it's about, and I can't hear because then it gets loud. And I just want to know, did they actually like have it right? Like, did she actually say, And so I was wondering, like, maybe the subtitles would catch it or not. But
we'll have to go back and look. I also, when that scene was playing, I tried to catch what she said because I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I listened carefully, but I couldn't, because as soon as she started talking, I was like, oh, is she gonna? And then it just got so chaotic, I couldn't hear.
Yeah, because that's when the fire breaks out, right?
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah. I will say that was one thing when I noted there in my note. I'm like, when I was thinking about you, Ben, I was like, okay, Ben's gonna probably think this movie is just meh, and then that scene's gonna show up and he's be like, oh, that part is like 5 stars, and then everything else is whatever. But also, I'm shocked that they would have an I Love Lucy convention in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and not Jamestown, New York. Like, what is going on?
I know.
Crazy.
Because there already was the Lucy Fest by then. I think that started in the 90s.
Yeah, who knows? I do love the Lucys. They're so funny. Just and I feel like, as someone who's just a casual watcher of I Love Lucy throughout the years, I feel like the situations that Cuba and them got into are very appropriate, and like situations that Lucy herself probably would have got into, which I think is hilarious. But
yeah, I noted that it's like an I Love Lucy skit just playing out.
Yeah,
1000%.
I just love at the end when the bus is tipped over and Cuba's like, starting to flip out about how he's going to get to New Mexico. And they're like, it's fine, Owen, it's fine. And he just loses it and says, shut up, you crazy Lucy bitches, shut up.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I can imagine I would feel that way as well if I was in his situation.
I want you to just say that to me sometime because I'm such a Lucy fan. Like, shut up.
Oh my gosh. So who do you guys think had the worst experience getting to New Mexico?
The worst experience, probably.
Who had to go through the most?
I feel like it's got to be Dwayne and Blaine, right?
Probably Dwayne and Blaine. My mind weirdly went to...
They had the most like potential harm, like potential death.
Dangerous, yeah.
Most physical damage just imposed upon them. No, I think weirdly enough, as we were sitting here, I think the two that came to mind were Randy and Beverly's kids. They're just stuck in the back with no entertainment, having to use the bathroom out of the side of a car, going into museums they don't want to go to, and yeah, just being
Well, she
dragged
was the
through
one
everything.
who wanted to go to the museum.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. That's
The
fair.
Barbie Museum.
That's fair. No, I think they were the ones who I thought of immediately, just being like, God, they're just stuck being dragged along by their parents just to not do whatever. Like, yeah, I would say they had it worst from a realistic sense, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. I think probably Dwayne and Blaine and the Lovitz family probably had the hardest go at it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I feel like at least had points where they had a bit of a break.
Yeah, or an
Where-
edge in it. Yeah.
Yeah, like at least Cuba like had the bus and he, you know, was able to just drive for a while. And same with Vera and I
Meryl.
forget Whoopi Goldberg's Meryl. Yeah, Meryl.
I only know that because I'm looking at a cast list right now.
Heck, who's his face? Enrico just slept for hours.
Yeah.
Like,
he
this
slept
is
through
fine.
most of it.
I didn't know, speaking of him, I didn't know what to make of him. I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know what I feel about Rowan Atkinson to begin with.
It was basically like, hey, guess what? Just be Mr. Bean.
I was going to say, it seems like, and I've not seen Mr. Bean, but it seemed very much in that style of comedy for him.
Big time.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, he had a pretty good time, and Breckenmeyer had a pretty good time too. I mean,
he got to fly in a helicopter.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, this is just whatever. I will say that is the first time we have mentioned Nick and Tracy's storyline this entire episode. I was going to make a comment about that and be like, we have not mentioned them yet.
It's crazy how they almost feel like the straight story, like not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the focus, like the, I don't want to say protagonist.
But they're kind of goofy too in places, but.
Yes, I absolutely love when she goes feral with the helicopter on her boyfriend.
I was about to say, very impressive. Like, I'm curious to know if how that was filmed or pieced together, because that is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I loved the very 2001 soundtrack, Who Let the Dogs Out, and of course Smash Mouth, which I'm sure we'll get to, but I was like, boy, these are my jams. Like as soon as I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear what the number one song is, because I'm sure it was one of, like when Geoff was doing his intro there, because basically every song, 2001 was like the peak of my music, like loving time and TRL days. So like any song that was popular in 2001, I could sing.
There you go.
Yeah. What did you think of the Smash Mouth concert at the end?
I like Smash Mouth. I've always liked All Star and other. That's not even the only Smash Mouth song I like. I thought it was a fitting ending to the movie. I thought it was, they were having a good time. Like it seemed like it worked for this type of movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Were you like thinking throughout the movie, like, oh, who's going to end up with the money? Or did you kind of think something?
I thought something would happen. I didn't think it would be like one person won. I thought either there'd be like a trick or some way that they'd all like. I didn't think there would just straight up be a winner.
Yeah. I feel like that's usually the case.
Yeah.
In these kinds of movies.
I was going to say the ending is very abrupt and just kind of stops on a dime at the end. And I guess that's the point. It is called Rat Race for a reason. It is just about the chase. It's about the pursuit. Yeah. It's about the motivations behind the pursuit. And you don't really need to care about the ending. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. And I like that they get to stick it to the high rollers at the end. Make them donate money to a good cause.
Yeah.
What was when the children are like talking to like convince them to like donate the money or to feed America, and Dwayne doesn't want to give up the money. Blaine, what did he say, Geoff? He's like, and Mom is looking down. The children.
I was about to use his voice. I'm not going to do that. Mom is looking down on us right now. He's doing that reaction, of course, because he's fallen for a girl who wants him to donate the money in a very typical kind of teenage, young adult guy fashion in the 2000s, being like, I want to try to impress this girl. Boom, here's hundreds of thousands of dollars, just donate it away. Sure, whatever.
All to be on stage at a Smash Mouth concert? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll take
Worth
it.
it. Growing up, apparently being seen by millions of people on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Millions of people.
Millions.
I mean, even by 2001, Smash Mouth was kind of on their way out. Like, I feel like the time between when they filmed this and when it got released, Smash Mouth kind of lost its because All Star, if I'm correct, I believe All Star was 99.
Yeah, because Shrek had already come
they
out.
They had done I'm a Believer for Shrek, yeah. But I feel like as like a really hot, like I feel like by the time they got to doing I'm a Believer, then they were like doing the soundtrack to an animated movie. You know what I mean? Like they weren't quite like at their peak. But I feel like when they probably got booked for it, which would probably been like 2000, they were coming right off of All Star.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of discourse in the Letterboxd comments about if this was the first or second best 2001 movie to feature All Star.
Incredible that there were two, and one bigger than the other, but still.
Yeah, I don't know which one I would pick. It's tough.
Oh, it's the easiest thing in the world for me. Sorry.
I mean, I figured as much.
And it's not Rat Race.
I figured as much.
One of the most important movies of my childhood.
All right. Well, do either of you have any final thoughts?
The only other thing I was going to mention is the Gloria Allred stuff is like a 30 Rock joke if I've ever seen one.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is like the exact kind of humor 30 Rock does. Like to have her there, like whenever somebody, gets hurt and she's instantly there. Like that is like that totally. And I don't love that brand of humor, but that was like, that is a 30 Rock, Tina Fey, Robert Carlock type joke.
It was very funny.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah. I have two things. One, like Amanda said, we watched this on VHS. We got some trailers beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
Both of stuff going to theaters and stuff coming to video cassette. We got 5 of them, and I had never heard of 4 of the movies. So, yeah, we got Orange County, which had a crazy ensemble cast.
It's like an MTV movie.
Okay.
Yep. An MTV
Before
movie.
The OC.
Yep, exactly. About a guy who is trying to get into Stanford as a writer. The best way to describe it is got like Jack Black in it, Colin Hanks, Catherine O'Hara's in this movie, John Lithgow, an American. Yeah, John Lithgow. Not John Cleese, not John Lovitz.
The other one.
An American Rhapsody, which stars a young Scarlett Johansson. And about an immigrant family in America and their experience, I think is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Hardball, starring Keanu Reeves, where he is coaching an inner city all-black youth baseball team.
Okay.
Yeah. Very early 2000s.
Yeah.
Zoolander, which is the one movie I'd heard of. And Focus, which appeared to be some drama starring William H. Macy and Laura Dern.
Wow.
About some mysterious thing happening in neighborhood. All Paramount movies.
All hits.
Apparently. I hadn't even looked up any of the information about that, but I was like, oh, wow. I have never heard of.
Well, if you have not heard of them, I doubt they were.
Well, I've heard of Orange County.
Yeah, I'd heard of Orange County.
I've heard of Hardball as well. Like, as soon as that trailer started playing, I was like, oh, I remember seeing this. Now, is that just because I've watched the Rat Race?
That's
VHS
what I was just going to say. I feel like you've probably seen the trailer a lot.
I don't know. Maybe I also saw it in real life in 2000 to 2001. Who knows?
I don't know. But yeah, those are. Oh, and my last thing was, so Kathy Bates's main squirrel, its name was Bucky. Amanda, do you think that was the inspiration for Bucky's? And their mascot name. Okay.
No. It's a beaver, not a squirrel.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting it's a beaver. My bad. I don't know why. I called it a squirrel once before too. I was like, it's a squirrel. Nope, it's a beaver.
Sacrilege.
It is.
Bucky is a beaver.
He's a beaver.
All right. Well, Ben, why don't you give us some TV recommendations?
Sure. I have two. One of them is The Amazing Race, which, has the reality aspect meets people running through. I've actually never watched a full season of The Amazing Race. I do think it's something I would love with the geography and stuff, but I'm like, because I'm so into scripted TV, and now I've gotten into movies thanks to these two on this podcast. Like, I just don't have time to get invested in reality TV. It's like the same as I'm not into other sports besides the NFL. Like, I literally have no time left to do it. And I know it's not that I dislike reality TV. I know I could get sucked in. I know, like, if I started, I could get into all 20 something seasons of The Amazing Race, and I'm just not going to do it. But I think I would like it because I've heard it's like a very classy reality show as far as reality shows go. And then my other one is a very specific, it's an episode of a TV show, and it ties into this movie in multiple ways. So it's an episode of the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, which was the follow-up to I Love Lucy when they stopped doing the weekly show. Desi Arnaz had become the president of Desilu, their production studio, and the marriage between Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz was kind of strained, and they ended up not totally giving up on the I Love Lucy characters, but they started doing it as a special called the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour that air a couple times a season. So they did like 5 episodes of season 1, and then by the end they were only doing 3. They only ran 3 years. There's only 13 episodes, and then they got divorced. But one of them is called Lucy Hunts for Uranium. And so the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, unlike the Out of Lucy episodes, they were bigger sets, bigger they went to more on location things and stuff. And so this one takes place in Las Vegas, where they are looking for uranium, and they get into a race between Lucy and Ricky, who's Desi Arnaz, are racing against Fred and Ethel, and then the third person in the race is the guest star of the week. They always had a big guest star each week in these comedy specials, and it's Fred McMurray, who he's a friend of the pod from The Apartment. He's but he was also known for The Absent-Minded Professor and other things in My Three Sons, the TV show, and so he plays the third one. And so they're in this race basically to try and, because I think they found uranium right outside Vegas, to try and bring it back. And then they get into like this wild madcap race through the deserts of Las Vegas. So it ties into this in multiple ways. Las Vegas, racing, I Love Lucy, it comes into like, it really is like the perfect pair for this movie. Madcap comedy. So I was like, as soon as I started watching this, I was like, oh, this makes me think of that I Love Lucy episode, or that Lucy Desi episode. And then the Lucy scene happened in the movie. And I was like, now it really makes me think of the Lucy Desi episode. So that was definitely the one that stood out the most for me.
Nice. Good match.
Incredible.
All right, Geoff, what are our movie recommendations?
Awesome. So you're going to get a bunch of them in just a few minutes when we talk about our favorite ensemble comedies. But I'll recommend a few others to sprinkle in there. So number one is basically the inspiration for this movie. It's the 1963 movie, It's a Mad World, directed by Stanley Kramer. Now, I just saw that movie for the first time a few years ago, and it's unhinged. It is ridiculous. It's a very similar sort of plot where this group of people finds out that there's money buried in California, and they have to go try and find it. And they get taken to ridiculous lengths. There's some insane stunt work in that movie as well. And they pay homage to it with like Buster Keaton playing a small part. And this is just like a crook and then kind of moves on. But it's very, very good. It is a very long movie. It does not need to be as long as it is, because it is, I think the unedited version is over 3 hours. And the version I saw, I think, was 2.5. It does not need to be that long, but it is ridiculous. It is very fun. Definitely recommend that one to pair with it. Number 2 is we're going to stay in the Jerry Zucker cinematic universe and watch Airplane. Because who doesn't love Airplane? I'm being serious, and don't call me Shirley. So very fun movie. Good jokes all around. Truly ridiculous in the era of satire comedies. And then I tried to find a madcap comedy from the 2020s. And there are a couple from across the country, but I'm focusing on the 2020s specifically. And I was going to originally talk about an ensemble comedy that'll show up in my list, but I said, nope, I'm going to save it. So I'm going to recommend a very small movie. I believe you can watch this on Prime Video right now. It was first debuted in 2022, but wasn't officially released until 2024. It's called Hundreds of Beavers.
Wow.
So it is
that's the inspiration for Buc-ee's.
So let me read you the summary to this movie is: in the 19th century, a drunken Applejack salesman must go from zero to hero and become North America's greatest fur trapper by defeating hundreds of beavers. This is a nearly silent film. It is essentially a Looney Tunes episode on steroids, and there are hundreds of beavers in this movie, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You need to be in a very specific headspace to see this movie. Like, you need to know what you're getting into before watching it, or else you're going to think this is the dumbest waste of time in the world. But I loved this movie so much when I saw it. So I will recommend watching Hundreds of Beavers to pair with Rat Race.
All right. Thank you. I still have to watch that.
You do. You absolutely
I know you can
do.
rent it on the Letterboxd store.
You can. It's also available on Prime Video, Tubi, Pluto, Canopy, and Mubi at this time.
Oh,
Wow.
Nice. Well, that's new. Okay, so it's time for our top 4. As we've been mentioning, we decided to do large ensemble comedies in honor of Rat Race being a large ensemble comedy. Geoff and I decided amongst ourselves that meant at least like 6 or so kind of, main focal people in the cast. So I don't know what you used, Ben, but that was kind of our
my rule of thumb was more. I was more just like thinking like, what's a movie? What are movies where like nobody is too much more important than anybody else, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a comedy.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ben, you go first.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we'll see if Geoff and Amanda agree that all these count.
That was one of my things. I think my list, my top 4, is stuff that I'm 100% confident qualifies. My honorable mentions will be movies that are fringe ones, but you interpret that however you do, Ben.
Yeah. So my honorable mentions, one of them I think is a kind of a fringe one because it's not as large, but I think it's still kind of an ensemble, and that's The Hangover. Also the Las Vegas tie-in.
Yep.
So, I think that is a very fun movie. I've only seen it maybe twice, but I liked it. Second one is Napoleon Dynamite, just because of this complete weirdness of all the characters in that. And then the third honorable mention, this one does have a central performance, but I'm actually speaking more about an ensemble within the movie, which is School of Rock, and a shout out to all the kids in School of Rock, and that they really make that movie as well as the stage show. They were great in that too. All right, so my top 4. Number 4, Knives Out.
Yep, that counts.
The OG Knives Out. Although I did enjoy Glass Onion and oh gosh, what was the more recent one called?
Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah, thank you. Wake Up Dead Man.
No tails.
I think the first one, well, the first 2 were more comedic to me than the third one too. But I loved that first one. I think it's still the best of the series. I'm sure you guys might have it on your list, so I don't want to say too much more. Number 3, I'm going to count it. We'll see what you say. Mean Girls.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It has Lindsay Lohan as a central performer, but really those parts are all kind of even. The Plastics and Janice and Damien, and really just an expert, ensemble comedy. I just love Mean Girls in so many ways. Number 2, Best in Show. Set, of course, at a dog show, a real definition of an ensemble comedy, more than the last 2 I just said, and obviously has the great Catherine O'Hara, Parker Posey, Fred Willard, Eugene Levy, just a really, really funny movie. And then it'll surprise you not at all that number 1 is also that same crew in Waiting for Guffman, my all-time favorite movie, featuring almost all the same actors as Best in Show. So if you're looking for good ensemble comedies, try Christopher Guest's ensemble comedies. I could have even included A Mighty Wind on here as well. That's a little more nostalgic and sentimental, so I didn't put it on because I felt like it wasn't quite as comedic as the other two. So all good movies, all fun times. Best in Show and Guffman are two of my and Mean Girls. They're three of my they'd all be in like my top 20 of all time. So
yeah, we definitely. I was like, yep. Ben's gonna have Waiting for Guffman as his number one on his list.
I mean, obviously.
No doubt.
No doubt.
All right, Geoff, let's hear your list.
Yeah, so when it came to determining this, I tried to think of it in terms of the almost to relate it back to Rat Race a little bit. And trying to find movies that had notable Hollywood actors that had a decent amount of star power. Maybe not everybody has star power, but a decent amount of it. All kind of doing ridiculous things. So my honorable mentions include Best in Show was an honorable mention. Anchorman, Legend of Ron Burgundy, just on the outside looking in. Some of my favorite movies of all time that I technically didn't count, just more because of the star power and how it's kind of portrayed. So like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is my favorite movie of all time. I'm like, I didn't really put it in the ensemble category specifically because of this. And then Doctor Strangelove as well. And then there are a couple movies that I didn't think quite fit it perfectly. So Knives Out was an honorable mention in my book. Also, Ocean's 11, an honorable mention, because while it's more of like a heist thriller than a comedy, I think that one just is on the outside looking in terms of this definition. So I think the four that I have here featured all kind of fit the mold of this definition. So number 4 is the most recent movie on this list, and that is Theater Camp. Was going to be my recommendation. Probably the best ensemble comedy, in my opinion, of the 2020s. Absolutely ridiculous. I think it has kind of that millennial star power to it as well, which is a lot of notable names for like millennial and Gen Z fans of movies, such as Ben Platt or Molly Gordon or Jimmy Tatro. So it has the star power there, kind of the internet star power, and still one of my favorite movies of all time. Like just absolutely perfect and ridiculous, and kind of balances out between a number of different storylines well. Number 3 is a movie that we've talked about in this podcast, Clue. Absolute fun, absolute ridiculousness. Loved this movie, especially rewatching it for the podcast when we did an episode about it. And while there is a central character, I think they all kind of get pretty even screen time throughout in this movie. Number 2, This Is the End. This is my sort of like Mean Girls kind of slot, if you will, which shout out to Mean Girls. This Is the End is one of my just favorite comedies. I laugh so hard with this movie. I remember watching it with Amanda. Amanda thinks this is like the stupidest movie of all time, and I absolutely love this movie to death. It's so good, and it's such a time capsule as well because of who is at the center of this movie. I'm looking at you, James Franco, but with the Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Jonah Hill, Craig Robinson, just dynamic there is just so good. And Danny McBride. How did I get for Danny McBride as well? Amazing. And then number 1 is a movie I'm going to talk about for 2 seconds because I know it's going to be on Amanda's list. Game Night. Amanda, over to you.
All right. Thank you.
Rat Race, Theater Camp, Game Night, Knives Out. This is just Amanda's world, everybody.
It really is. So I had a couple honorable mentions as well. One is a brand new movie that just came out a couple months ago. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. This was, I guess you could, it's definitely a comedy, probably another genre as well, not just like a straight comedy. But it was very funny. Had a pretty solid ensemble led by Sam Rockwell, and, about the absolute terrors of AI, but, being funny about it. One of my other honorable mentions, Geoff already mentioned, is Clue, which, that's a very large ensemble comedy, but a classic. So good. And then my last honorable mention is The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad.
Very specific.
Not Suicide Squad. Hear me when I say this. You wouldn't think to find a superhero movie on a list like this. However, The Suicide Squad is incredibly funny. And the ensemble that they put together for that movie was just out of this world. It worked so well. Yeah.
So impressive. Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Sylvester Stallone, David Dastmalchian. Just, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out James Gunn.
Always.
Yeah. Okay. So my number 4 is a movie called The Oath, which a lot of people have not heard of. Geoff and I like to watch it every Thanksgiving. It's a very good Thanksgiving movie. We have not watched it the last couple of years because it's just been too depressing to watch it. It's very funny, but it's also very political. And it was made after 2016. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little sad to watch now, but it's got Ike Barinholtz, Tiffany Haddish, what's his face from Game Night?
Billy Magnuson, yeah. And others who just go through a crazy couple of hours together. But it's very funny and very... John Cho, Meredith Hagner, a couple other names in there as well.
Yeah. Very driven forward by the ensemble. Pretty much just everyone is in a room and chaos ensues. Number 3 is Bullet Train, which was another one of my hyperfixations for a little while. This stars... Geoff, you're going to have to help me. Brad Pitt.
Yep.
And
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, him.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Uh-huh. And the girl.
Joey King.
Yep. I could come up with these if I had more.
Now everybody can understand how the John Cleese, John Lithgow thing happened.
recent.
Also had Bad Bunny and
recent Emmy winner Hiroyuki Sanada, Logan Lerman, Zazie Beetz, Sandra Bullock.
Yes, yeah. And Ben, you would love it because it's on a train.
And I do love Sandra Bullock.
It's all on a train. And, you know, this one as well is like action comedy, but it was far funnier than I thought it was going to be. So that's my number 3. My number 2, both of you have said, is Knives Out because, of course, such a great ensemble. That movie's incredible. I don't think there's anyone out there who doesn't know that movie's incredible. And then number 1, Game Night, of course. I can't not. It's such a good ensemble. They work so well together. For those of you that haven't heard me talk about it 800 times, Rachel McAdams, Jason Bateman, Billy Magnuson,
Sharon
the other
Morgan,
one. Sharon
Lamorne Morris, Jesse Plemons,
that guy, that girl,
Kyle Chandler. Yeah, it's just got such a great cast, and I think this is the best comedy of the 2020s, hands down.
21st. Do you want to do 21st century, or do you want to do?
I don't know.
2010s.
It was 2019, right?
2018.
Whatever. It's the funniest movie in recent memory. Okay, I can't remember when it came out. No. So yeah, that is my list.
Very nice.
Thanks. Well, that wraps up our episode on Rat Race. So hope y'all enjoyed. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Not on Pluto if you can avoid it.
Yeah, go find a VHS.
That's right.
And a
Much
VCR.
better experience.
Go to your local Blockbuster.
I'm sure there's DVDs out there. Be sure to tune in next week. Fortunately, you cannot watch along with us because we will not be watching a movie, but we will be doing a mini episode. And we're going to do something a little different this time. We will be chatting about the TV shows and movies that the three of us have been watching lately. And just doing a little chat about that and what we think about them so far. So, yeah. And so you'll be able to hear some information about, you know, shows and movies that are happening like right now, not older stuff like we usually talk about. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a rating or review, and be sure to follow us on all our social channels. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see y'all next week.
To infinity and beyond!
Why so serious?
I am serious, and don't call me Shug.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.